hello you, welcome to Geekism. You'll notice that this is an empty park, but hopefully not for long. You'll also notice this isn't the park that we've been building in Planet Coaster due to the fact that there's nothing in it. Well, this is a new series on the channel of Planet Coaster. This is Pinewood Hills. Now, I've got a lot to talk about before we really get started on this, okay? So bear with me here for a couple of minutes. I'm just going to be explaining what this is, what it isn't, what we're going to be doing, what we're not going to be doing. Okay, so first of all, we are going to be carrying on our Let's Build series, our main series, Geekopolis, or Geektopia, I forget what I actually ended up calling it. But our main sort of Disney-style, huge, really over-the-top decorated park, we are still going to be carrying that on most weeks, pretty much every week, in fact. But for a long time now, I've been wanting to have a go with a second park and a slightly different build style, and something that you would maybe call a little plainer, but there's, you know, still detailed, but detailed in a different way, and sort of treating it a little bit more like a more realistic park that you would find in, you know, smaller counties in the UK and also places in America as well. And the main reason that's really wanted me to start this is when I first started playing Planet Coaster, I was really out of the loop when it came to the theme park simulation game community. I played RollerCoaster Tycoon 1 and 2 when I was younger, really loved them. Never really played 3 because my computer didn't run it, and never really played any of the other ones, No Limits and all those. It wasn't really Planet Coaster that got me back into this genre in a big way. So when I started building the park over on the main series, I just started throwing things down and having fun with it and using the themes that were in the game. And it wasn't until I started looking at other people's content that I realised that actually there's quite a bit more you can do in the game rather than just doing a big old pirate area, using all the pirate pieces, and a big old western area, using all the western pieces. And although I'm still really enjoying that sort of Disney-esque sort of huge zones, you know, with a huge castle in the middle, I've been really enjoying some of the other series that people have been doing, where they use this slightly more subdued decorating style. People like Ruble Trillions, Commando Stanta, Masked Bandit, the guys over at Planet Bro Coaster, and for a long time now I've wanted to have a go. So I said to myself, once a few of the smaller series wrapped up that we were doing, so things like Stardew Valley and you know, other things that have recently wrapped up on the channel, I was going to take the time to do a second Planet Coaster channel series, and here it is, Pinewood Hills. So we're going to be doing some really sort of generic designing, small designing. It's going to be a mix of time lapses and real time, and maybe real time with a bit of time lapses with some music, and we're going to maybe do a little bit off camera, and we're going to come in and do some walkarounds. We'll maybe have some guests on building little parts as well, or maybe just some people here to chat with me while they build stuff, and it's going to be very easygoing, very open. It's going to be a little bit of regular. I'm going to be coming in here when I can, when I have time. And the other thing is that sometimes it's difficult to sit down and have that sort of creative boost to build a huge sort of really detailed, or not necessarily detailed because this will be detailed as well, but these sort of really highly themed areas like a pirate area, something, you know, with huge cannons going off and everything. You know, sometimes it's quite hard to make those work, and sometimes it's nice to be able to come down and build on a bit of a smaller scale and a bit more of a relaxed scale as well. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be taking some inspiration from some real life parks in the UK, places like Water Valley, Flamingo Land, and also some of the places in the States that aren't sort of Disney and Universal. You know, places like Knott's Berry Farm and other areas and theme parks like that aren't quite as heavily themed as Disney. So there we go. I'm going to start off with the entrance. The other main thing I want to do with this series as well is make it a bit more realistic in the infrastructure side of the game. Now, obviously, there's not that much we can do regarding infrastructure actually for the game, as far as the game's concerned, but we can make lots of things like car parks, service areas, you know, backstage areas and stuff like that. We've messed around a little bit with that in the main series, but here I want to take that really into account and sort of build the park with a sort of a backstage in mind as well. So that's what we're going to be doing. I've picked Alpine as a player area. Now, although this is going to be a sort of UK style farm, where this would be in the UK, I don't know. I mean, it looks like we're probably in the Highlands of Scotland here. It's probably the only place that you get away with this sort of surrounding. But I really wanted the pine trees in the background here, because obviously being called Pinewood Hills, I was originally going to call it Oakwood, and build it in deciduous, because oak obviously a very sort of stoic British tree, but there actually is a theme park called Oakwood in Wales. I'd never even heard of it before, and I didn't want anyone thinking that I was making a replica of that or anything like that, so we changed it to Pinewood. The name itself comes from a conglomerate of Patreon suggestions over on our Patreon page. We asked people to suggest stuff, and they were all really good. I took little parts from all of them. So I think somebody suggested pines, somebody suggested oakwood or something wood, and somebody suggested something hills, and I sort of took little bits and stuck them all together, and we came up with Pinewood Hills. So I'm going to start off with the beginnings of an entrance. It's going to be very simple stuff. Like I say, these are going to be maybe slightly shorter videos, a little bit more regular, maybe 1 or 2 of these a week, just when I dive in and just build something quick and easy and enjoy myself. So here we go. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll have a little chat with you in a couple of minutes' time. Okay, there we have it, a pavilion that we're going to be using as, well, not the entrance, this will be just behind the entrance. This will be, once you walk through the gates, this will be one of the first things you see. This park will not have a weenie, so to speak. That's going to be far too over the top budget for this park, so instead, it's going to be very low-lying, and it's going to sit quite nicely as one of the first things you see. So it's not much, first of all, I'll say that, and I understand that, but this has only been about an hour and a half of playing, whereas my other series I would usually have to play for like 5 or 6 hours to get a video. So these videos are probably going to be shorter with a little less happening. Like I say, sometimes they'll be full sort of as live videos, sometimes there'll be slight time lapses like this one, sometimes there'll be a mix of both, sometimes it'll be stuff off camera and I'll just be talking you through what I've done. I'm going to keep it really open and sort of keep my options open really with it, but I like to think that this should kind of act as like a palette for the rest of this park. Okay, so there's lots of things here that I feel are going to sort of be represented throughout the park. Okay, so first of all, you'll notice we did a custom roof there, and that's something that I try and avoid in my main series, purely because of the size of it. If I did custom roofs, then the frame rate would be already were much worse than it already is, and it's starting to struggle right now actually, which is another reason why I wanted to start a second series. So we've done a custom roof. It gives us a little more options, and also I think it sort of shows that since starting playing Planet Coaster last October, and having this channel going, I feel like I've got better at the game, and I got a little bit better at designing in general. And I feel that isn't represented in some of the earlier videos in the old series, and I don't want to go back and rip it all out and start over again. But here I want to try some more techniques using different pieces, using loads of multiple buildings. It's all stuff that we do in the main park, but really here spend a lot of time sort of really tweaking and sort of fine-tuning detail. Hopefully that comes across and it looks good. The other thing you'll notice is that I've done lighting for it as well. It's one thing that I've left a little bit lapse in the other series, so I really want to pay attention with some lighting here as well. You'll see we've called her Lady Frostaff II. This park will have a little bit of a backstory, a little bit of it'll feel like there's a bit of history going on there, and also this is going to be a park that will have been built over time. So at the front of the park we're going to have some classic rides like the carousel and things like that, and then eventually we'll build a coaster, probably a wooden coaster, and then maybe spread it out a little bit more. It's not going to be a huge park. I'm thinking sort of like 5 or 6 flat rides, a couple of coasters tops, but you'll be able to see the development over time of this park, as opposed to it being a completely organised, planned park like the Disney style park we've built in the other series. So we'll just knock it to daytime for a second so we can have a better look at it. So yeah, it's a little pavilion. It's not going to be where it is. I mean, I've literally just plonked that down to build it. What we'll probably do is have the entrance here. So what I'm thinking entrance wise, obviously we're going to have a car park, which we'll probably do, maybe start that in the next episode actually. I'm thinking car park will probably take up most of this screen around about here. So we'll have a car park here like so, and then we'll have the entrance here. I'm thinking nice curved entrance, sort of a convex curve there like that, with a few ticket buildings in front, and then you'll come through, and the pavilion will probably sit around here actually somewhere. In fact, we could probably sort of give it a bit of an idea of where it's going to go by dragging it out to probably about there. I think is going to be the sort of thing we'll do. We'll have car park running down, and then the idea will be that we'll have a couple of flat rides and loads of shops, and then probably a first coaster here, a wooden coaster that sort of towers over the car parks. Very classic for smaller parks. If they build a coaster, they want you to know about it and they want you to see it from the road. So often they're very up and close to the car park, and also that's usually where the space is as well. So there we go. We've popped Princess Amelie inside there. This building is actually based on a real life building that I have now closed the video, the picture I had open. It was a building in Berlin, I believe, in a theme park, and inside there they actually had a carousel horse, which is lovely. I mean, it really nice. Now I did have a little play off camera trying to do that, but with the art pieces as large as they are, it was really just not going to happen. My skill just isn't there for that sort of thing. So I've popped down Princess Amelie. We can't really look up into it. You get this sort of like moors of hell I could probably neaten that up actually, but to be honest with you, I'm thinking of part counts. We're going to be looking at it like this. We may do some ground stuff, so you might maybe come and have a look at that actually in the future, and maybe cap it off and make it look a little bit neater. But for now, I actually think that's turned out really quite nicely, and hopefully it gives you a bit of an idea of the sort of build we're going to be doing. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give us a like. It really does help out the channel, and if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe. Any thoughts, queries or suggestions, pop them down in the comments, and if you fancy chat, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at John T Sparrow. Please join in with the Geekism community, where you can suggest things you'd like to see in this series over on our Discord server. You'll find the link in the description. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.